I'm Dr. Stanley Marks. I'm the chairman of UPMC Cancer Center. We're sitting in the Mario Lemieux Center for Blood Cancer. This is his PET scan on December the 3rd. All that brightness is activity of the cancer, of the lymphoma. This is all Hodgkin's throughout this area. None of that should be there.
Let nothing stop you, let nothing get in your way. That's my mindset this season, is just have tunnel vision.
He looked me dead in my eyes and he said, bro, if I don't go to the NFL, I feel like a failure in life. If everything goes according to plan, which it has been so far, there's only one place to go.
When I said that, definitely did say that, but I want to take that back, because I realized that's not really what life's about. I was young-minded when I said that. I believed it at that time, but I believe I'm here for a different purpose.
Here goes Connor on his way. James Conner, he goes the distance for the Panthers touchdown.
Man, I just feel like nobody could stop me, Player of the year, we want to win the ACC championship, I want to win Heisman, all that kind of stuff.
ACC Player of the Year, you're going, wow, why am I so lucky to get this guy? Then you look at him with the size, the strength, the speed, the power.
Seemed like Thor, Superman, anybody you could think of. He was unbelievable.
I absolutely think he thought he was invincible. We thought he was invincible. Nothing's ever gone wrong. Then life happens.
James Conner, the defending ACC Player of the Year, is out for this year with a knee injury.
Get the ball, so spin off of a defender, take a shot on my leg, and I went down. I'm a little throbbing, when it first happened. But if you watch, I get right back up and I jog off the field.
He's out of the game, and I'm thinking he's okay. He tweaked his knee a little bit, didn't look that bad.
How are you, James? Everyone wants to know.
I'm good. Be back next week. I'm all right. That's honestly what I felt like. Come back in, the morning after, get a MRI. Doctor tells me out for the season, need surgery with a torn MCL. Started crying like a baby. And it's just like, man, it's tough, but it could be worse, and it got worse actually. But so that knee injury was minor till what was to come ahead in the future. Late in the season, about 2 games before the bowl game, I started to feel real different. I'm just rehabbing my knee. I'm squatting, I'm doing leg presses, and the whole time I'm doing that, while I'm lifting, anytime I'm straining a little bit, I feel like my head is getting pumped with air. It feels like my head is this big, and I'm like, why does my head keep swelling up?
I remember being in the indoor facility, walking over to Dr. Mayer saying, what's going on? There's something wrong with him. This is the same look I saw a month and a half ago. He hasn't changed.
So we sent him to one of our ear, nose, and throat specialists. And that's what really kind of got the ball rolling. So they looked a little further, thinking maybe it was something in his lungs, and that's when they ordered the x-ray and then the CT scan and then the diagnosis.
Got a biopsy, I got a decent scar right here, if you can see it. A couple days later, the results came back in. Mom was there, the trainer was there, and he said it's compatible with lymphoma. And I'd never heard of lymphoma before, I'm like, lymphoma? I'm like, what is that? And he said, it's a form of cancer. So he said, I'm like, wow.
They found that he had all of these enlarged lymph nodes in his neck and chest. Part of the reason, frankly, that no one could feel these lymph nodes in his neck is because his neck is quite large. He also had a very large mass in his chest, and that was primarily what was probably causing most of the symptoms that he did have.
That tumor was growing, so the veins was like this, but the tumor kept growing and it kept pinching the vein. So thankful for the knee injury, because that let me know, I wasn't taking shots to the chest, I wasn't playing, So like I said, the way God works is crazy, because without this knee injury, I probably could have died on the field, because I would have been thinking, because I'd have been fatigued, but I wouldn't take myself out. Got the scan just in time before that vein closed up.
Basically, you have blood flow backing up, if you will. Your face swells, you can have nosebleeds, you can have a stroke.
When I heard I got cancer, I was a little scared, but fear is a choice. I chose not to fear cancer. We're gonna fight it and we're gonna beat this thing.
We elected to treat him with 6 months of chemotherapy. We use a 4-drug combination called ABVD, which is the gold standard.
Did you have the thought running through your head, man, I might die from this?
A little bit, very little bit, but they said it's very curable. He didn't tell me 6 months, he didn't tell me 2 years. At that point, death got out of my head immediately.
We just had so much faith in Dr. Marks, you know what I mean? We just trusted him to the max. We knew he knew what he was doing, and we really felt like, we got this, we know it's gonna be just fine, but there's still that, who knows, he could be that small percentage that, it doesn't turn out okay. Yeah, so it was kind of up and down.
And I remember looking in the mirror sometimes, when, my eyebrows was kind of going a little bit, and your eyes get real droopy, and you just don't look like yourself. Because I'm looking back at pictures from the first game when I got my helmet off, and everything was, looked great.
James, you're going to be playing Penn State next year, and I'm going to have to cheer for you. I don't have my family all mad at me.
You could just bond with James. Just the smile on his face, the twinkle in his eye. He was here to get better. He was going to beat this no matter what.
When I first met him, the thing that impressed me the most was his maturity. When we first started his treatments, I said, listen, we have a private area where we can put you in your own room. And he said, no, I don't want that.
God bless you.
You too.
Really mean it. Bottom of my heart.
There were patients that were down about things, things weren't going so well, and he would try to encourage them. And, again, you go back to, this guy's 20 years old. He wanted people to know he was here, he was getting treated, and he was going to go through it with them.
And so that was the plan, every 2 weeks for 6 months. And but it was still good because that was in December. With that 6 months, season doesn't start till September. So this season, and the season was on my mind through the whole time. You just gotta stay active. That's what they said, stay active, because the chemo works immediately. You wanna get out of your system. So it's important for you to get the water and keep using the bathroom and try to sweat it out, so that's what it was.
We had to limit the amount of weight that he was doing because he had a port in his chest, so he couldn't be overly aggressive with strength training. But he was able to keep up his cardio. He would go and get his chemo treatment and then come over and get on the bike or get on the treadmill or do something.
He had chemo on a Monday, and we had spring ball started on Tuesday. And he did chemo on Monday and came out on spring ball and was taking team reps and running all over the field. And I was just like, wow, this is really impressive.
I mean, if you didn't know that, the diagnosis and the situation he's going through, you wouldn't say, wow, you can tell he's going through cancer. You wouldn't know it.
That's just motivation. It's just motivational to us, because it's like, all right, no matter how bad we think our day is, our brother just came from chemo yesterday.
It was truly remarkable to watch through that 6 months how I kept expecting him to say, all right, you beat me up, I'm feeling the fatigue, it's hitting me. It didn't happen.
May 9th was my last treatment. So I go in there May 23rd, about 10 o'clock, get the scan. And then I was just waiting for Dr. Marks to call me with the results.
Everyone was on pins and needles the day of his scan. Everyone's going around, is his scan okay? Is his scan okay? And so I went over it with Dr. Joyce, who's the PET CT expert here. And she said, this looks perfect to me. So I got to call him.
How you doing, Doc? So we all good? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Said I felt like I cried more then than I did when I found out. I just could not get a grip for like a good hour. Like it was really kind of, yeah, it was nuts. So.
You know, in this business, that's not always, you know, the call that I make. And so when you get to make those calls, it reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, someone young like that who's got a fatal disease and you can actually cure them of a cancer makes it all worthwhile.
You know, he's talked a couple times about being in getting his treatment, and there's a camera crew and there's a news reporter sitting there talking to him, and he looks around that room and sees all those other people who are in the same predicament, if not worse, and nobody's paying any attention to them. And that bothered him. He's always doing talks for Dr. Marks, and he's going to groups to talk to kids, and he's always done that. I think now it just means even more to him.
So I found out I was cancer-free, and the very next day I had a breakfast to go to raise awareness. But I embraced it. Me being, you know, Pitt running back and notable, you know, more people will be paying attention to it.
He was on Ellen. Like that, you know, that was just crazy to me. That was just crazy. I'm like, I want to go. You know, so a lot of good has come out of it.
And I actually put him on with my mother-in-law who's going through cancer right now. That's all she talks about is, you know, comparing herself to James. What did James feel that? What did James think? I mean, you know, my 70-year-old, you know, mother-in-law is thinking about what James was going through and how it's similar to what she's going through, and she's trying to be tough like James.
Going through it, I can relate more, and I feel like that's just the best thing ever when you can, you know, make somebody's day or give somebody some good advice or just, you know, make a young kid smile.
Well, tomorrow night, I'm actually presenting him with a Courage Award, and he doesn't know it yet. Please don't share it with him, but we're actually renaming the Courage Award after him. We give the Courage Award out yearly. We've done this for 30 plus years, but tomorrow night we're going to name it the James Conner Courage Award.
Please join me in congratulating the first winner of the James Conner Courage Award, James Conner.
You know, fear is a choice. You don't have to fear nothing. And for everybody in this room donating, you know, one day they'll be able to call themselves a survivor. So I thank all of you. Dr. Marks, you're the greatest ever for allowing me to call myself a survivor. And just thank you so much for the support. And, you know, I can't wait to add this to the collection. Thank you.
But yeah, every day, September 3rd was on my mind, and got cleared, the report's out, I'm cancer-free, so, you know, I got to get back to, you know, what I do.
Well, I have to tell you, I had a vacation plan then, and I changed it. I've been to many exciting Pitt sporting events over my career. That'll be the best day.
How many people could say they could win the Heisman, be an All-American or ACC Player of the Year, and yet the most important moment in their athletic career is running out of the tunnel for the first game of a season because just months before you didn't even know if you'd be alive to see it?
The way that he went through this and what he went through, I don't think there's any question this will be his best year. I expect him to be full speed and not look back.
He's out there, he's healthy, he's good. You know, that's it. He's good. Because, you know, a lot of moms aren't in my position, and I think about that. And I can't imagine not having this outcome.
No, all my goals are still the same. You know, I need to get the ACC Player of the Year again, ACC Championship, and I still feel like it's all achievable, even with you know, everything that I've been through. So yeah, all my goals are still the same, but I won't feel like a failure if I don't go. You know, because I realize that, you know, it's more to life than just playing football.